What's up? Today I'm going to be doing a 40,000 mile review on the GTI. I can't remember the last one I did. It was maybe 30,000 or maybe even less than that, but I just hit 40,000 recently. I'm actually almost at 41,000, but I thought I would do a review. Not a ton has changed, but I want to go over everything from kind of 0 to 40, and I know I'm going to miss things, so if I do, I will just put them down below in text. So first and foremost, I bought this in 2018. Brand new off the lot. It had 100 and something miles, I think 118 or 112. I have put 40,000, like I mentioned a second ago, on it. And I actually had a post pop up on my Instagram from 2 years ago today, and I was at 20,000. So I've put around 10,000 miles on it in the last 2 years. The first year that I had it, I put right around 20,000 because I was in a job that was just driving all over the state. With that being said, since I hit 40,000, nothing substantial has happened. I think DSG service is 50,000 or 60,000, so that's coming up. My Nitto I got quite a while ago are doing fine. I just had my tires rotated, and my cousin, who actually works for the place that does them, he said that there's a lot of life left, which is exciting because they're expensive and I do not want to buy them again. I have the Rotiform KPS 19 inch, I almost said 17, 19 inch Rotiform KPS on them with the center caps. I bought those and had them put on. I have the side skirts that I got from one of my friends. He didn't want them anymore on his. He got a different kind that are way cooler, so he gave me those. I bed lined them and then put them on. I have this wing right here, or really a spoiler extension. It is, I can't remember, Maxton or whatever you call it. I always say it wrong. But that was another thing I actually bought off of him. I think I paid 50 bucks for it. The plastic was kind of dingy, so I ended up bed lining it just to kind of keep with the theme. And I installed that probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have the front flex lip. I have a video about that. This thing is awesome because you can bend it, move it, scrape it, whatever you want, and it's not gonna break. So I installed that. You'll probably notice the red trim that I did that maybe a year or two ago. I probably need to redo it just because rock chips and stuff will hit it, and it's pretty much essentially a sticker. I obviously have my car lowered on H&R Sport Springs. Interior, not a lot of things modded at all, really. Actually nothing. Problems that I've had. Of course, we had the big fiasco that the tire shop messed up my side skirt area. I'll show you a picture of that right here. That was bananas. That was 17 or 18 days of my car out of commission. Of course, they paid for it because they did it, but the thing just kind of irritated me. They never came to me about it. My mom noticed it, and then I had to go to them and talk to them about it, and I just thought, okay, well, I don't go there anymore with this car. I go to a completely different city to get my tires rotated and stuff like that. Backspace, obviously I use this a lot, especially now that I've sold the Jeep. And funny enough, this thing hauls more than the Jeep ever did. It has way more space. So I love putting the seats down and being able to put, you know, larger ticket items back here, or larger items in general. I will say, just a pro tip, when you do put your seats down, make sure there's absolutely nothing underneath there, because if there is, it will warp your leather. So let's say I had like a sack with an old ornament in it underneath there. I had this seat down for a couple of hours and it ended up dimpling my leather, and it took so long for it to just go back to normal. So that was really annoying, but that was a hard lesson that I learned, and I only had to learn once. In terms of other issues that I've had with the car, I haven't really had a ton. Front leather seat I had replaced right after I got the car. The little bolster on the side, it was always worn. I mean, I remember driving off the lot that night and noticing it. I had to end up going to Volkswagen themselves and getting them to approve the replacement. The dealership locally was just real weird about it. They weren't, you know, voluntary, or they weren't proactive about it after I approached them. So I went straight to Volkswagen and they ended up saying yes. So I got the cover replaced. It's still an issue. Actually, let me show you. So right here, you can see it's super wrinkled. Even here, oh, that's dirty. Even here where the stitching's at, it's not as like into the car. So this is a new cover, supposedly. This right here though, if somebody gets out of it and moves it, it just, oh, it looks awful. So that's one thing I really don't like about the seats. And I came from BMW, my 4 Series I had, and their leather is impeccable. So I know comparing BMW leather to Volkswagen leather isn't apples to apples, but it just sucks in comparison. But I still would get leather over cloth. I've had issues with the front sensor, the ECS sensor. That thing will go off and say not detected or not, you know, working, whatever, whenever it wants. It's just sporadic. I ended up turning the front collision sensor or whatever off because it went off randomly one day when I was driving 35 down a road with nobody in front of or behind me, and it went off randomly. And so I thought I would hate to be on a road, whether I was on a highway or a regular road, and it just break for me, so I've turned that off. My sunroof, oh, I love sunroofs, I really, really do, but if I could choose not to have it because of the problems I've had with this one, I would. I ended up taking it to the dealer 4 or 5 times after I first got the car because it was rattling. Their whole thing was because I lowered the car. They were real hesitant to fix it because it throws off the geometry or whatever. I get that, but really sunroof shouldn't rattle. I've lowered cars before and it's never happened. So I got that fixed. Every once in a while it roars its ugly head and kind of squeaks, but it's not as bad as it was by any means at all. So I'm fine with it. I've done regular oil changes, tire rotation every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. I'm letting myself ease up a little bit and doing like 4,500, 5,000 instead of 3,000. I had to take a peek at my old videos to see if I was missing anything. Really, what I've talked about mainly on my channel is just DIY stuff or trying new products on my GTI, not a lot about the issues. So I think I've covered everything. I did forget one modification that I did was I changed out the brake pads almost immediately to carbon fiber ceramics. I hate brake dust. BMWs have the worst brake dust I've ever seen until I got a Volkswagen. It was 10 times worse. So I got those carbon fiber ceramic brake pads and I literally have no issues at all. They are the best brake pads that I've ever had with the amount of, I guess the lack of brake dust that they omit. So those are awesome brake pads. I have a video again somewhere about those carbon fiber ceramic brake pads, but they're great. If you hate brake dust, you should look at them. Really, that's about it. I really, really love this car. I think one of my big plans for it is to, after I do pay it off, I'm thinking about looking at newer Jeeps just because I really do love Jeeps a lot, but I would really like to have one that's my everyday Jeep on 35s now that I'm not in outside sales anymore. But I really love this car and I don't want to get rid of it. So with that being said, that is it. This is a great car. It's fun, it's quick. I don't care about speed, but it's quick enough to suffice me. It is very easy to make it faster. Of course, it takes more money and it's super easy to mod it in simple ways. You can see everything that I've done. It's super inexpensive. I think the most expensive thing would have been the tires and the wheels, but everything that I've done is relatively inexpensive. And this thing actually won top 15 at a car show about a month ago. So you don't have to spend, you know, the most money or buy the most expensive stuff. You can get things secondhand or get them given to you or whatever and still have your car look impeccable. I like the way it looks and that's really all that matters. I have a very big modification coming soon. If you follow me on Instagram, which I will put my handle right here, you probably already have an idea of what I am doing. I'm just waiting on everything to come in. And then I think I will be able to show you guys in a couple weeks. So super psyched about that. We have a huge Ozark Euro Rally, which is our German car show up in Arkansas that we go to every year. That's coming up at the end of the month. That's everything that has happened to my GTI from the time I owned it to 40,000 miles. Everything I've done to it from the time I bought it to 40,000 miles and kind of my overall opinion. I appreciate you watching very much. I appreciate your support of the channel. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. It really does help. Comment, like the video, that kind of stuff helps. So I will catch you in the next one and hopefully my next video is going to be the big surprise. So see ya.